All right, guys, I'm Sarah. You all know me. I'm your wellness coordinator. I'm gonna do a presentation and just show you guys a little bit about how to sneak healthy foods into what you eat, easy substitutes, and how to take any recipe and kind of flip it and make it something healthy. Because a lot of times we just kind of get stuck in what we can easily grab, which a lot of times we can just as easily make it and it'll be better for us, or we're kind of stuck in the rut of what we're used to having. So say the classic Thanksgiving meal with the sweet yams with the candied walnuts and whatnot on top, but there's healthier options that'll taste just as good, depending. But I'm gonna teach you guys how to get as close as possible. So we're gonna find ways to sneak in healthy food. Okay, so first step, don't make it harder on yourself than it needs to be. A lot of those cookbooks, or if you look on foodnetwork.com, you look up these recipes and it's a mile-long ingredient list, half the stuff you haven't heard of. It makes it less fun. It makes it a lot more challenging and it makes it take a lot longer. Make it easy on yourself. The things we're making today are very tasty and about 3 ingredients. So the first one, we're making chocolate ice cream. It's frozen overripe bananas and coconut milk, and you can flavor it with whatever you want. I'm gonna make us chocolate chunk, so it's gonna have cocoa powder and dark chocolate chunks. The cauliflower rice is literally just cauliflower and coconut oil, and you put it in a pan. And finally, we're doing peanut butter dip, which is just vanilla Greek yogurt, peanut butter, and cinnamon. And it's good for fruit, graham crackers, super easy to make for your kids, easy to make for sides of dinner and dessert. So you don't have to make it super hard on yourself. So the other side of the coin is, to not make recipes hard on yourself, is you actually have to be cooking. So part of this is actually getting in your kitchen, because we rely too much on something, picking up food from a restaurant. Well, it's still usually about a 30-minute wait for that anyway. And you could have made a meal in 30 minutes that would have cost you less money, it would have been healthier, and it could have been a memory made with your family. So these are reasons why there are benefits to cooking. It's a great way to get a new hobby if you're trying to find something to do with your weekends. It's a great way to pass on recipes to your children. A lot of people's favorite memories are cooking with their grandmother in the kitchen or their mother's secret recipe. And a lot of times in our current day and age, we're getting so busy that we forget how fun it is, not just important. And on top of that, you can learn your own favorite things and your own secret ingredients instead of just relying on somebody else to hopefully make something you like. I broke it. Okay, so here are some surprising reasons why you should sneak them in. Everybody knows it's good for your weight, it's good for your health. You know, preventative health care is step number 1. That means that if you eat right, you take care of yourself, you shouldn't have to worry about getting sick. But there are surprising reasons to eat healthy as well. It actually greatly affects your energy levels and your attitude. Your mood can be affected by what you ingest more than anything else. So whenever you're very tired, you're down, you're in a bad mood, you're just feeling cranky, a lot of times you immediately run to sweets. Those actually help feed that mood and decrease functionality. It decreases motivation. And so what you can do is eat for the change you want. So here's with proteins, carbohydrates. Before a test or before an exam or before something really challenging that you need more alertness, protein is actually a great source of that. Carbohydrates, which people think actually give them energy, are actually better for calmness and relaxation. They're actually going to bring you down. So food can greatly decide how your day goes. And if you're making it yourself, you're deciding that for yourself. So you decide your mood. And I like to tell people whenever they're trying to eat really healthy to not focus on what they're losing, which is cakes and ice creams and stuff. Focus on what you're gaining, which is experimenting with new recipes, trying new foods, and choosing a better mood. You're gonna have less bad time. And also, side note, any bad mood that you're in, omega-3s are a great way to get out of it. So any kind of fish, and also flaxseed, all of those are great sources to kind of bring that mood back. So if you just find yourself being cranky and snapping at people, Open up a can of tuna. It'll all work out. Okay, so we're going to go over kind of the requirements of a healthy recipe because, fun fact, we're going to do a CSI recipe book. We're going to send it out to everybody, but after today, we're going to start collecting the recipes from all the employees. So these are what set you up for a healthy recipe, and I'll describe why. Things that are not a healthy recipe are fake sweeteners. They actually increase your insulin levels and actually make you crave more sugar. And they can cause headaches, digestive problems. So things along the lines of Splenda actually are a hindrance to losing weight. They actually make you hungrier because you've ingested something that tells your body you had sugar. But when in fact you didn't, so your body releases the insulin to take the sugar, and then the insulin has nowhere to go. So then you get an appetite so that you will eat something to help the insulin go away. So it's actually hindering you from losing weight. Fat-free versions. What they do to make fat-free things taste okay, because when you take all the fat out, you're taking the flavor out. What they do is add sugar and salt, which are worse for you. Fat's good for you. It actually keeps you satisfied. It keeps you fuller longer. Fat got a bad rap in the 90s, but it was all just a fad. Fat's very good for you. The salt and the sugar will be more of a problem. Margarine, it's a fake man-made product. Anything covered in cheese, obviously not beneficial. If somebody hates a vegetable, absolutely hates all vegetables, a great way to start them to eat them is putting cheese on it. But that's not a healthy recipe you'll share with everyone else. That's a way to slowly edge them into vegetables. Another not healthy item is prepackaged items. Like say you'll mix some prepackaged item in with whatever you're making. If it could hold up in a bomb shelter, you shouldn't put it in your body. Also, anything that was made in a laboratory. If a scientist made it up, it's also not supposed to go in you. It's not nourishing your body. It's not providing energy. It's not providing anything good for you. It's actually making your body harder for your body to process everything. It's slowing everything down. It's confused and trying to deal with these chemicals you put in there that it's not really supposed to have. So on the yes side, hopefully everybody likes it, you get full-fat cheese, full-fat yogurt, full-fat dressings. You'll eat less of it. You'll be fuller longer. It's just better for you. So everybody knows avocado, the fat's in it, it's good for you. If you're going to put a little bit of cheese on there, why are you not putting the one with fat? If you put the one that has just more sugar and more salt, you're just going to crave more sugar and more salt. And sugar is the one that your body's going to hold on to have weight on it. Real sugar in moderation. Real sugar is better than the fake sweeteners. And in a future slide, we'll talk about what alternatives to sugar are. But sugar is not the devil if you use it in small amounts. Carbohydrates, they're okay. They also got a bad rap. They're still fine. You need carbohydrates to fuel your brain, to function well, to be able to exercise, which builds muscle mass, which helps you lose weight. You do need carbohydrates. They just got a bad name for a while. Butter, also okay. It's a real product. It's made out of real natural ingredients. Oils, olive oil, grapeseed oil, flaxseed oil, avocado oil, they're all awesome. Natural items grown or born on the earth. Animals, fruits, vegetables, eggs, all super. They're real things that came out of the earth. We can eat it. So here's our healthy substitutions. Like I talked about with sugar. If you only use a little bit, it's still okay, but there are other options. Any fruit addition, like say you're making muffins, you can throw a banana in instead. Apple, raisins, craisins, it'll sweeten it up for you without using a bunch of sugar. Fruit juice, it's got a little asterisk because you still want to limit it. A lot of times they do those from concentrate, so it's mostly just sugar anyway. But if you can get 100% fruit juice and use it in limitation, it's okay as well. Honey, agave nectar, applesauce is a great cooking substitute. Cinnamon is great to add to anything to make it a little bit sweeter. Oatmeal, you're having it, add a dash of cinnamon, it completely changes the flavor. But no sugar difference, no calorie difference. Mashed bananas, like I said, in muffins are a great substitute. They make them really moist. Stevia is okay, but also in limitation. It's a natural sugar alternative, but it's newer and there's not a ton of research in what prolonged use of it does. But it is from a plant instead of a chemically made product. Date syrup and beet sugar are also, they're from plants, but they're still in concentrate. So it's syrup from a date, just like maple syrup, and beet sugar is still sugar, but it's a natural process. It hasn't gone through a bunch of cleaning, dyeing, changes to its chemical properties. So the beet sugar is good as well, but you want to limit it because you're only supposed to have about 45 grams of sugar a day. So other alternatives, heavy whipping cream. A lot of times during the holidays, that's when you'll see a lot of. You can make your own. I brought cans of coconut milk. All you do is put that in the fridge. The coconut cream will settle to the top and coconut water goes to the bottom. You scoop out the cream, little whip, little bit of honey to sweeten it. Your perfect whipping cream option. For all your pies and such, it'll have less calories, it will have less carbohydrates, definitely less sugar than your store-bought. It's a great option. Rice. What I brought today was cauliflower rice. It's an alternative to that decreases your calorie and carbohydrate content. Like I said, carbohydrates are good, but Americans in general have it in excess, and anything in excess is bad. So if you're having pasta for dinner, rice for lunch, and toast for breakfast, you're having too much. So you can just substitute in cauliflower rice for lunch. You're balancing out. Couscous and quinoa are also more fibrous and more protein-filled options. Vegetable oil is not really your friend. You want to stick to other options? There's all kinds of varieties of options for that. It's in a lot of cakes. It raises your cholesterol. These ones will help remove cholesterol, except for butter. Sour cream substitute, plain yogurt. It tastes the same. If you've ever tried plain yogurt, it's sour, it's weird. It's like you're eating sour cream with a spoon. It's a perfect substitute. It'll have more protein, less sugar added to it. So whole milk, here's options for in recipes. Obviously for drinking, that's options as well, but it won't taste the same. Potatoes. White potatoes are not your enemy either, but if you also, again, have them in excess, they don't have that much nutrients to them. So sweet potatoes will have more vitamins. Cauliflower will be less starchy, so you're benefiting from those options. Pasta, there's what are called zoodles. It's just a handheld little tool that you take a zucchini or a squash and you twist it and it turns it into noodles for you. They're delicious, but if you don't even want to put in that amount of work, spaghetti squash naturally is like spaghetti. You just cook the squash and it comes out in perfect spaghetti style. You just buy the squash, cut it in half, clean out the inside like a pumpkin, bake it for 30 minutes, you have spaghetti noodles. And instead of about 200 calories a cup, you have about 20 calories a cup, which makes a huge difference whenever you're really putting in an effort to lose weight, but also you're getting a more nutrient-dense food. You're getting more vitamins. Cabbage is a great option. It really just absorbs the flavor of whatever you put it in. So if you want to stir fry, it's going to absorb the flavor of whatever teriyaki or the oil you put in there. It's just going to absorb that flavor. Also, you can put it in chicken noodle soup, half noodles, half cabbage. It's just going to get loose just like the noodles, and it's going to taste like the chicken broth. Broccoli slaw is also a great option for a stir fry instead of noodles. Mayo on sandwiches, avocado or Dijon mustard. Really easy. And if you guys have any questions on any other areas of stuff that you really like, that you would like a substitute, feel free to ask me at the end. Okay, so now we're at the end. We're about to make the food. And like I said, we're making a CSI specialty cookbook just for you guys. And we're going to take in your recipes and my recipes, just mesh them all together and make a book. And if you turn in recipes, it's worth points. So you get wellness points pretty easy. For every 2 you send in, you get 1 wellness point, and you're allowed up to 2 wellness points. Just follow the healthy recipe guidelines. It can't be fat-free cheese covering broccoli, and it's a healthy recipe. And I have a few recipes for everybody as well. I have cauliflower Alfredo, cauliflower rice, a few easy soups, for the season if you want to pick up any of those. And then I'm going to give everybody some samples of some healthy food that I brought in. Any questions? All right, just want some food. This one is made from coconuts, and it only has 6 grams of sugar and 30 calories per tablespoon, which is drastically different than a normal teriyaki sauce. Its first ingredient usually is corn syrup. So this one's first ingredient is coconut sap, and the second one's ginger. So you're really getting a natural product. So this is the cauliflower rice. I'm gonna get everybody a little bit of it, and if you want some of the teriyaki to put on there, that's awesome. But if you don't and you want to try it plain, I'm just going to bring everybody a plate.
How is that done?
What you do with the cauliflower is you take it whenever it's raw, and you can either just use a cheese grater. I use a food processor because I eat this like all the time. And you just grate it, and it turns into the little particles like rice, or just throw it in the food processor and it'll break it up like that. It's super easy. You can even use a blender if you have a good blender. And then you just put it in a pan and flavor it however you want. My boyfriend likes the onion and garlic, so we go with that. But it's really good for if you just do like a chicken stir fry and just put it with the rice. I like it a lot with fish. Okay, and the next thing I'm gonna make is a peanut butter dip for the apples. We have 2 options with the peanut butter. We have a powdered and a traditional. And I'll make a little bit of each so you guys can tell that there's a calorie difference in the powdered peanut butter versus the regular, but not really a taste difference. But some people just prefer one over the other. But that rice last night only took about 15 minutes. It's super easy. I'm going to add some cinnamon to give it a little bit of sweetness with the powdered peanut butter.
Sarah, what kind of vitamins are you getting in the cauliflower?
That one I believe has a lot of vitamin C. It definitely has more fiber, and I need to look that up exactly. You're getting more iron, potassium.
That's what I was thinking too.
I mostly use it because of the calorie difference. I think that cauliflower is mostly, like, it's similar to celery in a sense. Like, not a whole lot going on for it, but it's mostly water. But it's going to fill you up, and it's awesome. But it does have more vitamins than rice. Rice is pretty much just...
Low in carbs too?
Yeah. Yes, it's very low in carbs. Rice is pretty much just carbs. Okay, so I'm going to bring everybody some apples, and I'll bring the powdered peanut butter around first. But I think save room for the best one at the end. It's the ice cream. Okay. Christy, do you want to help me again? I'm just going to pour some apples on here. Mama Jean's. I try to limit it unless I do the natural ground. They're like Hy-Vee and other grocery stores has it, and the machine will just press a button and it'll just grind down the peanuts and stuff. But it's still pretty high calorie, so I try to, like, that's why I like this mix, because then it's like I can just have a giant bowl of peanut butter without eating all of the peanut butter. Okay. The powder has less fat, so you won't be as full after, but it has quite a bit different calories. So it kind of depends on what you're aiming for. So if you're aiming for weight loss, I would go with the powdered. If you're aiming with maintenance, I'd stick with the regular peanut butter. I know that vinegar, white vinegar can, and that's a natural. Yeah, lemon and white vinegar both do. So if that powder is just like a dehydrated lemon, I don't see a problem with it. But if it's a bunch of like chemicals you haven't heard of, I'd say just let your vegetables go bad. Okay, so I'm gonna run and grab a can opener really quick. And what we're gonna put in here are just these two things. This has 12 calories a tablespoon, and for over half of this bar is 230 calories. And we're only gonna put half the bar in the whole container for everybody's ice cream. So a serving of this is only about 160 calories. And it's a good amount of serving. I'll be right back.
And so, do you have that? Or?
Yeah, I have it. There's all different kinds of versions. I've made one. The issue I ran into with it was the moisture. You know how much like water is in the cauliflower. So you pretty much have to have like a ton of paper towels and just push all the water out. And so it's just a little time consuming, and you use a lot of cheese because you use cheese in the crust and then on top. But it is a much better alternative to pizza. It's just a lot of work because you have to make the cauliflower rice first, and then you have to squeeze out the water, and then you mix it with the cheese. But I can send you a recipe for that. There's all different kinds, and different people say different ones work better than others. So I'll look up a couple and send you some.
Could you dehydrate it?
Yeah, that's a good thought. I don't know if that would change it to where it can't stick together or not.
My wife, I don't think she has celiac disease, but at least she has intolerance to gluten.
Uh-huh.
So, well, I was looking for different
Cauliflower
options.
stuff.
Well, different options besides wheat.
Yeah. Do you guys use the spaghetti squash a lot?
No, that's why I was interested in seeing that.
Yeah. It's incredible.
Because the other gluten-free pasta is just
No.
it's
And
gross.
it's not like that much better for you. Sometimes they're worse. It's just a lot of rice, which like we said isn't very nutrient dense.
more processed stuff.
But the spaghetti squash, they sell it at Walmart, they sell it everywhere. It's just the big yellow squash. And I have to warm it a little bit before I can cut into it because the outside shell is pretty hard. But I'll just warm it in the microwave for like 2 minutes. Then you just literally slice it right down the middle. It'll have like the seeds and kind of the membrane and stuff like in a pumpkin. You'll just scrape that out.
Sure.
And then you'll have that like, classic gourd style. And you'll cook it face down to kind of keep in the moisture. 30 minutes and see if it's soft. If it needs a little longer, that's cool too. It depends on the size, how long you cook it. But you literally just scrape it out with anything and it comes out in full strands. You don't have to do anything to it. So for anybody like that, it's a great option. And you can even make hash browns with it. Like if you like have a bunch of leftovers and you don't feel like spaghetti, just throw it in your pan with oil and just make like hash browns. You can make, I've heard you can make a pizza crust with that as well.